Carlos Nelson with What's Up Kansas City. And this afternoon we have Mr. Derron Black. He's running for a position as a state rep. Welcome to the program, Derron.
Mr. Nelson, thank you.
Tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Why don't you back up from your camera a little bit? Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
About yourself and what you're running for, what your platform is. Timing is everything, and the time is now.
I got you. So I'm running for state representative of the Missouri legislature, 23rd district. Kansas City native, born and raised pretty much all my life. Grew up on 25th and College and spent time between 25th and College and 33rd and Cypress, where my auntie lives. And served a little bit of time in the Navy. Came back to Kansas City back in 2005 after getting out of the Navy, and worked at Ford Motor Company with my father for about 8 years. And decided to, had a conversation with him about politics one day, and thought that I should throw my hat in the ring. And pretty much this is my third race. I'm running on the Democratic ticket, but my platform is, of course, the expansion of Medicaid, also workforce development, public safety, and education.
All right. What makes you think that you qualified for that position?
So what makes me qualified is something that really is rare, in my opinion, about the political system here in Kansas City. And the thing that makes me different is that I care. I'm committed. I'm not going anywhere. And so I have lived the experience of the individuals in those zip codes, 64127, 64128.
Explain to our audience what your district covers.
So Independence Avenue and 9th Street on the north side, 31st and 35th Street on the south side, Truce on the west side, and mostly Topping.
The program is brought to you by the Kansas City Business Association.
That I've pretty much been a part of this area all my life, and I have a passion to actually seeing the community progress.
Have you gotten any support from any community organizations or any notable talking heads?
Any notable talking heads? The biggest supporter that I really appreciate is Mrs. Bonye Mims, the alderwoman out in Raytown. She's been a fantastic mentor for myself. And with this campaign, the reality is that we've received all kinds of support from all different types of people that, we wouldn't even thought that we would even be in the same room with, or at least I didn't think that I would be in the same room with these people. And they've came out and supported and even contributed to the campaign. People like, Terrence Dunn of the J.E. Dunn Company. Pastor Wallace Hartsfield has made a contribution to the campaign. Modest Miles has opened up the doors of his church for us. And, Justice and Dignity Center. And really the list goes on and on and on. I mean, Miss Rosemary Lowe.
When's the last time have you had any conversation with Miss Lowe?
Yeah. We actually made phone calls.
She's the matriarch of this political crap here in the city.
Yeah, I already know. Yeah. We literally, me, my campaign manager, Oscar Bolton, and a young man that we have with us that we're grooming about the political process. My brother, Willie Talley. We've made phone calls from Mrs. Lowe's porch all afternoon, man. We talked to I don't know how many people, but it was a good experience. And just even making that connection with her, and even Archie Welch, former Freedom Incorporated president, brother Archie Welch has been giving me great guidance. He makes jokes at me all the time because he's a Marine and I was a Navy guy, but it's all good. I soak up as much wisdom as I can from him. He's definitely pointed me in some different directions about, he even mentioned that I should get in front of you. So here I am.
Hey, Archie is, let me tell you, they might think he's asleep, but that Negro is woke.
You're right. Yeah, he's pretty sharp.
Yeah, and he's got the experience. And,
right.
he somewhat knows what's going on in our community, and he
Right.
definitely knows what's going on in Kansas City politics.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think that I would be able to get his support, but we sat down on Mrs. Gigi Owens' front porch. He got to knowing a little bit about my story. I was absolutely fascinated, listening to his story. And by the end of the conversation, he was like, "Listen, I don't come cheap, so you probably can't afford me, but I'll give you some advice and a little bit of nuggets that you can run with and try to make the best that you can from that." And that's what we've done.
How do you feel about the city wanting to take control of the Kansas City police situation as it relates to having control over the police department? I just did an interview earlier today with the current sheriff, Darrell Forte, who was previously chief of police. And how do you, since you running on state dealing, and the state basically controls the police force, what's your feelings on that?
So I tend to lean towards, basically the understanding that, we have a mayor that sits on the police board. Am I correct? And then also we have other officials that the mayor gets to select himself to sit on the police board as well. So when we look at, the basic systems of how that, of how the police board should function, it looks like it's already local control. I mean, literally the people who can make the decisions are sitting on the board. Now, I understand that the governor is the one that assigns the board or appoints the board, but we still have the capacity to be able to interact with our local officials who can call the shots on the police board.
What do you plan to do in relations to down at the state from an economic point of view to empower Black business here in the state?
So
specifically in your district.
So I think a lot of the times that we overlook the client services component of a state representative. And so with that being said, your representatives on the state level should be able to help, Black businesses, people who want to start a business, navigate the different layers of governance to be able to make a situation where people can actually thrive and be successful in their business. So when we look at just the general dynamics of the state legislature with the Republicans having a supermajority, it just really requires you to build those relationships and have that focus and understanding that you're representing the people from your community and do the best that you can to get something done for your community.
You beat me to my next question, because my next question was, how do you feel that you could build a coalition, especially down at the state where it's Republicans rule, and right, for you to get anything done, you've got to be able to build some type of coalition. Do you think you have the capabilities of doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even if you look at our campaign over the last 4 months, we have engaged people from the African-American community, the Caucasian community, the white community, Hispanic community, African community. We even touched, even people who represent the Vietnamese community. So our capacity to build these relationships, connecting on that human level, has proven itself, throughout this campaign. And so one of the first things that I'm going to do, once we win come Tuesday, is I'm going to take a state tour of all of Missouri. I want to touch every legislative district in Missouri. I want to touch every county in Missouri. I want to get to those state or those seats where the people actually are in these rural towns, and even in St. Louis and down in Springfield and in the Boot Hill as well. So when we have conversations with these people, we understand what it is that they're concerned about, and we can try to find some type of commonality. I think a lot of times when we talk about economic development and we talk about legislation and these different things and even laws, all these things are centered around people. And so your capacity to be effective in connecting with people on a human level is really the linchpin of your success. And I'm more than confident that we can have those type of relationships.
Is there anything specifically that you would like to talk to our audience about you or your campaign?
So everybody likes to bring up the fact that I was involved in this protest back in 2013.
Mayor,
And one of the things that, yes, sir, yes, sir. One of the things
we
I
got
want
it.
people to know is, right, is I've had a tremendous amount of growth, and I've had a tremendous amount of work towards being spiritually and mentally centered and focused. And I've also, I'm getting my degree at UMKC. So I have trained, conditioned, and built myself up to be the best representative that Kansas City has had in a long time. Now, I won't, knock anybody else. But at the same time, I'm pretty confident that no one in my district, well, I won't say no one, but I'm pretty confident that the majority of the people in my district will appreciate the representation that they will get from me and the people who I'm affiliated and associated with. So this is just the beginning. We're going to be looking for people to continue to interact with myself and others who are a part of this coalition, so we can have an impact going forward. So look for me on the ballot come August 4th.
In closing, 2 or 3 things. You want to tell them how they can contact you and your organization, give them that information. And on your closing statements, I'd like to know what would you have to say to our young Black voters out there that coming out of high school and in the college area. What would you have in the college age range, I should say, that some are first-time voters and what have you? What would you have to say to them?
Well, first, if you want to reach out to me, you can definitely go to DerronBlack23.com, DerronBlack23.com. And there's a get involved button. You can click that, leave your information, and somebody from our campaign to reach back out to you. And you can call me. My personal cell phone number is 816-533-2423. And one of the things that I would like to tell the guys coming out of high school and the young ladies coming out of high school and the young men and women coming out of college is this country is yours. Your future is in your hands. But at the same time, you have to have knowledge, you have to have understanding, and you have to have focus, and you have to have commitment. We just put to rest one of the greatest civil rights leaders, man, that I could ever even think about, Representative John Lewis. And Representative John Lewis was not one of the elders. He was one of the young guys on the turf, putting in the work and trying to bring about a situation in a condition that the country still needs to live up to. And even President Obama, given his eulogy, President Obama, was quick to point out that it says, "We the people, in order to form a more perfect union." And President Obama showed that, we have to depend on our elders, and we have to understand that we are the creators of the future. So take this thing seriously. Make sure that you exercise your vote, because your vote is your power. And if we look at what has happened, over the past 5 or 6 months with COVID-19, and if we look at what's going on with the inequalities and the disinvestments in our community, African American community especially, from the disproportionate reality of the deaths falling on our side, we have to take those things seriously. So that means that there's a lot of work to be done. And the first step in getting this work done is making sure that you cast your vote for Derron Black if you're in the 23rd district.
Excellent. Hey, Derron, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Yes,
we
sir.
wish you the best of luck. And as we always say in closing, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
That's right.
Program is brought to you by the Kansas City Business Association.